All right. Good morning, everybody, and thank you everyone for joining again. So happy Friday, and we are here to give another update on progress we've made over the last week. The PWA Studio, we have a couple of demos lined up. We'll of course open it up to anyone on the line, anyone that wants to show any work or progress they've made, and then we'll kind of wrap from there, I think. So I think from the team, we have 2 demos specifically to talk about, and then we'll turn it over to Mr. Zetlin to give any updates that he has on his end. So Tommy, do you want to kick us off?
Yes. I joined remotely.
There you go.
Let's see my own screen. All right, so the PR that I'm going to talk about is one that I think is the most common problem, maybe in the top 2, most commonly posted on Slack, people having issues getting up and running, and this is about the document root of your Magento site. So if you were using kind of just the root directory as your Magento backend, all images would fail to display. We had a workaround that involved kind of modifying these 2 environment variables, appending pub, and then going into your Venia upward, and then appending media pub. Let me bump that up a little bit. Bumping up this pattern to pub media, and then all the images would come back, and that was great. But we knew that there was a GraphQL endpoint that could give this information to us. So this PR does that. So it automatically queries your Magento backend for what your media path is, and then injects that into all image requests. So that is as simple as, let me go ahead and just open this file. So you'll see now that the pattern matching now ignores media requests. We now go directly to Magento instead of funneling all of that through Venia. And then there is a new piece of information that is passed that is really just this. So it's a store config query here. So now we query for the media backend URL. It's a simple store config query for the secure base media URL. And then we append that, or we bootstrap that to the app, and then use it in the make URL functionality to determine how to generate these optimized URLs. So so we didn't change any functionality about how these URLs are generated. There is a environment variable called media backend, where you either specify if Venia should take care of image optimization, or if you want to offshore it to Magento. And if you have something like Fastly, which we do on a lot of our backends, then Magento will take care of that image optimization for you. So that involves just appending some parameters to those URLs, and then Fastly picks up on that and automatically resizes those images, so your app is slim and fast, which is amazing. And then on the Venia side, it also picks up on the same parameters. This width parameter is actually very important. If it's present in any kind of image request, it'll automatically be resized, append some headers to your app for you, and go on its way. So I didn't prepare an actual demo, but I can probably just get Venia up and running really quick, and you can see image optimization running.
Yeah, it's like one of those demos where the demo is that it's not broken.
Yeah. But we can look at some network requests and see what images look like Oh yeah, I would need to do a full build. Okay, so this is an example of a backend that has Fastly image optimization in it, but since we aren't passing the environment variable to do that, it's going to be processed by Build. Okay, that's so my copy.
That's a good time for me.
Delicious build. Wait for it.
Right, down to clear. All right, look at the network tab, look at these image requests, look great. You'll see optimized by PWA Studio staging server, and then with a quick switch of an environment variable, Venio would then let those image requests pass through, and then they would be optimized by Magento. That's not a glorious demo, so I'll leave that out and just cut this short. But so just to summarize, this now allows, it doesn't matter what your Magento backend is, your media can be served at a pub media, your media could be some different path, like you could create your own media mount path and configure that in your Magento backend, and it will now automatically be picked up by this GraphQL query. And then this also, I think would support even like Amazon S3 locations and things like that. So this opens this up to just being like completely future-proof. No matter what your Magento backend is, your images will always load with zero configuration on your end. So I think it's a huge improvement, very simple, but it should result in a lot less chatter on the PWA channel about people getting up and running with their own Magento backend. Cool. So any questions?
Actually, I do have a question. Did we add, you mentioned that they could add their own path or something like that. Did we add that stuff to the docs to make it, if people did want to do that? So if the question does come up in Slack, I'm just thinking like, is there somewhere how to do that? Or maybe we create a follow-up ticket or something.
Yeah. But I mean, it's...
Or would they know how to do that just for the...
I think somebody, it's hard to tell, like people coming to PWA Studio might be like completely front end and have no idea what they're doing with Magento, but
yeah, that's true.
I mean, it is just one of those simple things in the admin config for changing your media path, and it just defaults to Hub Media.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I guess I just want to say this is like exactly the kind of change that we need to be making en masse, where we make more and more things dependent on what GraphQL tells us about the instance, which makes the PWA still an awesome PWA, but makes it feel more like Magento and the amount of admin control somebody has. So, Tommy, this is a really good example of excellent quality, value, and all that stuff. Thank you so much.
Cool. So yeah, in here, if anybody was curious, this is where you would set your custom media path. Then you could do kind of mount points with Amazon S3 or kind of anything you want.
Cool.
Anything.
Awesome. Thanks, Tommy. Yeah, so if there are no further questions, then we'll turn it over to Andy to talk about.
Oh, yeah. Wait for it. Nailed it. Okay, cool. So last week Tommy showed refactor to functional components. I can't remember exactly what it was. One of the root components, I think. But this is the
page.
Which one was it?
Category page.
And this is the MiniCard. So This doesn't include the checkout portion of the MiniCart, but pretty much everything in source components MiniCart has been refactored as part of this PR. So all the components in MiniCart are no longer classes, they're now just functions that take props and return JSX. So let's see, there were some like private getters that would return JSX and they were duplicated throughout some of these components, so I just made those their own functions now, components. Rename some things. You can now unfavorite items, which is a small thing, but was fixed as part of this. And then the reason that this is a lot more additions than subtractions is I added unit tests for all the components and snapshots and stories in Storybook. So let's see. I think the easiest thing to do probably would be to go. So this is the source components MiniCard or whatever. So if you come in here, there's stories in here. There's tests with snapshots. But like here's the main MiniCart component now. Like I said, just a function that takes props. Is going to pull things off of there and figure out what we should show, and then just returns some JSX. And that's it. And each one of the, this is like the main component that takes, the big giant cart. As you can see down here in prop types, this cart needs to have a certain shape. So this is pretty big, but this is probably one of the bigger components in here. If we go to like, the header or something, it ends up being very, very small and easy to digest. There's a function called header, it takes props and returns some JSX. So hopefully this improves the readability. It also allows us to, this is a follow-up PR for a different issue, but it's based on this MiniCard Refactor for responding to the window size, which we needed for the checkout button was kind of hidden by the iOS Chrome sometimes. So instead of using 100 view height, we now get use the window size hook that Steven wrote and get the viewport height, which will actually subtract that Chrome out. So we use that to kind of dynamically set where we should put that button. And so you can see that because we refactored the MiniCart to that functional component, pulling in a hook or something like that is a really simple change. There's only like 4 lines here, and that fixed the whole bug. So, which we would have had to do like a component did mount and a component did update and all that stuff before. So, much easier now. Opens up, like I said, kind of increases readability now. Sets us up for using hooks in the future. So, this was a pretty big one. It's actually not merged yet. There's still a little bit of feedback that I have to address, but just wanted to show that as it's happening.
It's happening.
But that's it.
Tee-hee.
What was that?
I said tee-hee.
Oh, okay.
I said cheeky. Yeah. Or chingy? I don't know. All right, any questions?
I'm almost 90% certain I did not say chingy.
Are you at a Holiday Inn?
You're
welcome.
nice. You're welcome. Okay, so yeah, are there any questions for Andy on the refactor? Otherwise, Jimmy, if you're on the line, you have anything to add around Peregrine, the progress that we're making with Peregrine, what you're excited about the last week, the next week, anything that you want to add there?
There's nothing to demo at this point, but there's something just to talk about with the reason why we're taking on all of these particular refactors, right? Which is, like Andy said, it's open these things up to using hooks, but also to export some of their functionality into hooks. So that's kind of the next stage here. So we've got MiniCart, then we're going to do checkout here. And once we do these, we can start looking at porting a lot of the Redux state out into hooks that we can reuse. And those are going to be the really cool PRs to see. And you're going to see a lot of functionality be able to move into Peregrine because it'll be able to move into hooks.
All right. Okay, so I think that's it from the team. Is there anybody on the line has general questions about PWA Studio or has a PR they'd like to demo or ask the team about? All right. So quickly then to check on our progress in the next week. So the team obviously has, as Trudy indicated, there's a lot of Peregrine work lined up that you'll start to see progress on from the team. Obviously, there's some quality work that we've been focused on with bugs that have been reported through the community, and so we're obviously trying to keep up with those and make sure that we're giving good feedback as issues are coming up. I guess we could talk about Magento UK really quickly. So we're tagging, like we've talked about the last couple of weeks, we've been tagging tickets with Help Wanted where we kind of are hoping to get some community contribution. There's a new tag that, I guess I could zoom in there. There's a new tag that you'll start to see appear on certain issues, the MM19 UK, and I think Andy had posted an update in the community Slack channel about that. But Andy, if you want to speak to that at all, you can.
So yeah, I don't know that I want to say that you shouldn't pick those up, but those are the ones that we've tagged for the contribution day at Meet Magento UK. So yeah, I guess the core team is not going to pick those up, but obviously community can pick them up if they really want to. But those are a little more straightforward, probably a little bit easier for someone who has never worked on PWA Studio before. So yeah, that's that MM19 UK, which is like their official hashtag or whatever for the event. So yeah, not much more to say about it than that. I know Jordan said he was going to come, but maybe not to the contribution day. There's a couple other people that chimed in, so. But we weren't even on the contribution day event. We just got added to it recently, so hopefully that spurs some interest, but we'll see.
So we will be there, or Andy will be there.
Yeah, I'll be there. Eric will be there too.
Eric will be there.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm super excited for that.
So if there are any questions on issues, if you're looking to get started with contribution, or if you're looking to help the team in any way, right, there are those labels to look out for. It's the Help Wanted. You can, of course, start looking at MM19 UK if you're going to be at that event. And again, our priorities again for the next week are going to be focused around Peregrine delivery, quality. That's really kind of it.
Question in chat, what day is contribution day?
What day is contribution?
Tuesday the 18th, and then the conference is the 19th. The next day, Wednesday. It's at. I can drop a link to the Eventbrite thing in chat. Is that where you're looking?
Yeah.
Community Slack. Yeah.
No, not Slack, but it's a Blue Jeans chat.
Oh, in Blue Jeans chat. Yeah, it's well, I can't drop a link there, I guess, but it's at Dot Digital in London on Tuesday.
All right. So anything from you, Mr. Zetlin or Jimmy?
Oh, I have a big update that I am publishing as a blog post. So I want to get everyone's, I want to give everyone's time back.
I don't know what you mean by
He's
No, I mean right now, do I have anything directly to update? I mean, apart from encouraging folks to do contribution days and to look forward to further contribution days in other locations in Europe that we're going to try to make appearances at, like Romania, I think, and then also in Asia. Be aware of that, and if you're on this call and you have an interest, please persuade your friends and colleagues to go participate in those. And I guess the other immediate update I would have is that we have some outstanding pull requests, including from me, which is going to grow less often, that are significant changes and require opinions. And our core team reviews each other's code and contributes opinions in public. And we would really welcome folks from outside the community coming in on these pull requests. Oh, sorry, folks from outside the core team in the community coming in on these pull requests and helping steer us if you feel like we're doing something that makes sense to you or doesn't make sense to you or you think should be done differently. We want to give you guys the same permissions and the same kind of level of effect and influence on our choices as we have on each other. So just urging people to, if they want to do something with their time or want to help us out, just going in and reviewing existing work and adding your opinion is always welcome. That's it. The larger updates that I have are going to come later.
Awesome. Jimmy, do you have anything? Long pause. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, then I think that's a wrap. Onwards and upwards.
Recording has stopped.
Yeah.
Oh, recording is